Jai started Oak Grove School in third grade back in 1988 and graduated in 1998. He went on to obtain many degrees in neurobiology, physiology, and doctorate of dental surgery. Last year, Jai was thrilled to return to California. He is currently the UCLA Associate Program Director of Maxillofacial Prosthetics and Clinical Assistant Professor in the Division of Advanced Prosthodontics.
"32 years ago, my parents emigrated to this country for two reasons, the first of which was for their children to attend the Krishnamurti school. It had been my grandfather who introduced my parents to Krishnamurti's books. This morning, we turned to Jiddu Krishnamurti's lesson on sensitive awareness. It concludes with the line, "Love and do what you will, and there will be no sorrow." He also writes the converse, that without love, all activity leads to sorrow. And if we may borrow from other great minds, Sam Harris describes that in the landscape of human existence, we find love at its peaks and sorrow in its valleys. We just heard the Beatles. John Lennon also writes that all we need is love. Kay warns that unlike love, mere personal reaction is narrow and deteriorating. There is something more profound that we ought to awaken ourselves to. And for that, all of our senses need to be fully alive and fully active. Kay teaches that to love, one must be sensitively aware of nature, of the river, of the sky, and of people. Love for Mother Nature and sensitivity to the world around us is easily grasped and appreciated as long as we are exposed to it early and often in life. And at Oak Grove, with its school grounds and the myriad of camping trips, it immerses you in nature. Sensitive awareness of individual people and of the human condition, on the other hand, is a taller order. Oak Grove School charges itself with teaching students how to work out their conflicts, how to listen, empathize, and how to be compassionate. All of this in the safe environment in small classroom sizes, which is paramount to this effort. All of my 5 siblings attended Oak Grove School. We're all very different, our own individuals. We reside in 5 different cities across 3 continents. But when I asked them to reflect on their Oak Grove School experience, all of them fondly recalled their friendships, their interactions with peers, their interpersonal relationships with teachers. My sister Jayana remembers Isa in kindergarten explaining why we don't kill ants. And to this day, she cannot take a life. Gabriel, he had our class read A River Runs Through It, and I always remember the idea that you only truly understand something until you're made to write it down. As I wrote the speech, I reflected on the question, do my life decisions and my daily human interactions manifest sensitive awareness? So ask yourselves that same question. And my honest answer is, I hope they do. Allow me to relate a moment in my life when I believed that all my senses were fully alive to Mother Nature and to my part in this world. One night at the end of my 3-year prosthodontic residency, I was mountain biking in the Marin Headlands with my best friend John Dolan. The exertion of a tough climb had me stop a while to catch my breath, to gaze up at the moon as it peeked through the San Francisco fog, but also to question where I was going in life. As a specialist in prosthetic dentistry, I would be challenged to restore smiles and rehabilitate chewing function, a noble profession. In fact, 4 years later, I would marry a prosthodontist. But that night, I felt I should aim higher. Not because of ambition, but because I sensed I could do more for my fellow human. While the vast majority of general dentists, or dentists in general, practice are private practitioners, I came to the realization that my impact on society would exponentially soar in an academic environment. I went on to further specialize in oral and facial prosthetics, and today, as a university professor and a residency program director, I train future specialists in the field. My classroom is often me and 3 residents. And part of the training is a quarterly seminar with a mind and body team. It's a social worker and a clinical psychologist. And amongst other things, we discuss compassion for our patients. As the chief maxillofacial prosthodontist and a member of the UCLA Head and Neck Cancer Program, I help give cancer and trauma patients a second shot at life. On behalf of my parents and my 5 siblings, and now a second generation of Jayanettis who are here at the high school, I thank Oak Grove for providing academic excellence, but also focusing on raising our consciousness above and beyond the classroom. Thank you.